Hello and welcome. Today we are making spinach frittatas, a super easy dish that looks fancy and yet takes almost no effort. It works wonderfully for events like Valentine's Day and things like that, and can be a breakfast or dinner depending on what you put inside. You will need a oven-safe skillet, preferably non-stick for this recipe. Now let's get to the ingredients. For our ingredients, we only need a few things. Eggs. For a 10-inch pan you'll need about 8. If your pan is 12 inches you'll probably need about 10. 1 teaspoon each salt and pepper, and vegetables of some sort. These are usually onions and peppers plus something. So in my case we'll be using a bag of frozen vegetables and about 4 cups of spinach that has been washed and destemmed. If you want to use fresh, you'll need about a half an onion, 1 bell pepper, and about 1 stalk of celery. Now you want to set your oven to 350 degrees and place the rack in the second from the top position. So to start off, we will need to cook our frozen vegetables, since I'm using frozen, on medium heat until the liquid is almost gone. You'll need to do that with most of the vegetables. This is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes depending on the vegetables you chose if it's frozen. We want some liquid left in the pan when we add the spinach. If you're using fresh onions and peppers, this is probably going to take 10 to 15 minutes so they can get to the point where they begin to soften. Once everything looks similar to this, we are ready to add our spinach. Now we want to add half of our spinach and let it wilt before adding the rest. The reason we wanted to have some leftover liquid in the pan at this point is because the steam from the liquid boiling off will basically jumpstart the wilting, making it take about half the time it normally would. This allows us to skip the blanching process as well, and we get to keep all the spinach flavor in the dish instead of losing a little bit during the blanching process. Once wilted, add the rest of your spinach. So while that wilts down, I wanted to make a note that this works with almost any vegetable leftover and some meat leftovers. So you can kind of use this as a sort of glue for leftovers to make leftovers feel more fresh again by being in a very different form than they usually start out in. So when you are making this, when you start wilting your spinach, you'll want to mix your eggs and salt and pepper. Now you can go 2 ways with this. You can thoroughly mix the eggs until they have a very even yellowish color. But if you do like I'm doing here and get it mostly mixed, you're going to end up with a more interesting visual appearance. The streaks of both yellow and white that will be throughout will actually add a great deal to the appearance, and it does also add a little bit of a layering effect that makes it kind of a little bit fluffier. Once your vegetable mix looks like this and almost all the liquid has boiled off, you are ready to pour the egg mixture in. You can just pour it all in at once and begin mixing all the ingredients together. Once it's all mixed together, you'll want to be mostly hands-off and let it cook. What we're waiting for is the bottom and the sides to start to fully set. The easiest way to test this is to scrape the bottom in the middle and see how thick the solid layer of egg is. Once you can see fully formed ribbons, you'll want to be hands-off until you see the middle section begin to set through the uncooked egg at the top. Once it looks like this, with only the top layer unset, we're ready for the oven. If you are enjoying this video and not already subscribed, subscribe for more like it, and, as always, cat pictures. Lots and lots of cat pictures. Into an oven preheated to 350 degrees and set to the broil setting. Once in, we are going to set the heat to broil as well. This is because the broil setting only uses the top burner, so we're essentially using it to finish the cooking and brown the top at the same time. This usually takes about 3 minutes, and you will definitely want to not leave this alone in the broiler like this, otherwise it will burn very rapidly. Once you are happy with your browning and the top is fully set, you are done. When using pans in the broiler like this, one thing I do want you to make sure of is that you check what temperature it can sustain. A lot of them only go up to about 400 degrees, and if you happen to have one of those, you might have to broil a little bit longer, but only do it to that temperature, so that way it doesn't ruin your pans. And with that, we have a nice frittata. This is one of those great recipes, like I said, where a tiny bit of effort looks like a bunch of hard work. Also, if you like spicy, a drizzle of hot sauce on the top is super good. And as I said earlier, again, this is great for just using up leftover vegetables and stuff. It takes care of that fantastically. So, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day and a great meal.